it!
This is my best friend Kyle. As long as I've known him, he's been pushing his limits as a rock climber. 4 years ago, he took me climbing for the first time. I was hooked. But as much as I enjoyed the sport, my passion has always been behind the camera. And Kyle's growth as a climber has been documented with every trip that we took to the crag.
Yeah, I just don't know. I have like it feels like an internal like hurdle kind of thing. It's like stopping me from jumping to it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like a safe fall. Like we take falls. It's like nothing different.
Climbing requires both physical and mental strength. But as much as I train my body, it'll never be able to compensate for the weakness of my mind. My climbing is inhibited by my fear of falling.
There's definitely you can get better at technique. I think in addition, there needs to be a mental aspect of training.
When Kyle told me he wanted to focus more on his mental training, we began brainstorming ways to help him overcome his fear of falling, if that was even possible.
And my cousin Barrett, he does practice falls every season before he starts climbing. He'll fall to get back into that mindset. Maybe we should start doing that.
It only made sense that we paid a visit to the person who taught me how to rock climb, my cousin Barrett.
How's it going?
What's up, dude?
John.
John.
Barrett.
Good to meet you, Barrett.
Nice to meet you. Come on in.
I've known Barrett my entire life. He's been like a role model to me, not just in climbing, but in life. I've watched him climb things that I could only dream of, but he's also the first person I go to when I need advice. That's why I'm coming to him today, to pick his brain on how he deals with fear.
I think it was about 15 or 16, and a friend of mine took me to a little climbing wall inside of a church before his dad took us to the actual climbing gym where it all started.
Which was Little Rock.
Yes, the Little Rock Climbing Center.
This little climbing gym in our hometown is where Barrett learned to rock climb. Today, he trains at a much higher level.
Do you have any fear of falling while climbing? Was that a hurdle?
Oh yeah. Yeah, and it comes in phases. There's levels to the fear. And sometimes it's a fear of falling, sometimes it's a fear of the unknown, sometimes it's just stiffness in the body, sometimes it's hesitation, sometimes it's non-commitment to a move that you know you should be able to make. There's all sorts of ways that fear shows itself, and you have to work on overcoming.
That looked really good.
The fear that's there, you have to ask, like, where is it coming from? Is it based in reality? Is the fear legitimate? And a lot of times it's not. To me, that's what climbing feels like mostly, because most of what we do tends to be relatively risk-free. If you're used to, on a regular basis, putting your life in someone else's hands and also into your own hands, it makes some of the more trivial situations that you encounter in the day-to-day seem even more so.
Kyle, how you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. See, I think that's Barrett. What's up, Barrett?
What up, Kyle?
How's it going?
You ready to do some climbing today?
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked to get out there. But I hear you got something planned for us.
Yeah, have you ever taken a practice fall before?
Barrett has always told me that to get into a better headspace for climbing, he would take practice whips, something that scares the shit out of me.
Excited? Yeah. It's gonna be so fun.
It will be.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun. It's gonna be fun.
It's so safe too.
Yeah, this is a great place to do it. What are you talking about?
The middle one right here. Goes up the crack feature. And then look at the distance between that last perma, the chain, and then the 2 chains up at the top.
Yep.
So how far do you think that is to the chains?
Oh. Man, a good 2 of me.
Yeah, 12 feet, right?
Yep.
That's what I was telling Mickey. So your fall is gonna be what?
It's gonna be double that.
At least, plus rope stretch and slack in the rope. So you're looking at like a 30-foot fall from the tip top.
Wow.
So that's what we're gonna get you on.
Yeah.
Know that climbing is overall very safe, but has your fear of falling ever been influenced by like watching a friend take a hard fall or get injured?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's always risks. Yeah, you see a couple of bad things. Like I saw a friend, I wasn't there at the crag when it happened, but he fell off of a climb and a bolt pulled out, and he fractured his spine on a rock because he fell onto his back, and he ended up getting helivac'd out of the woods and straight to the ER because they thought he was going to be paralyzed. But luckily he was not, and he was able to recover. But yeah, that was scary.
What was your initial reaction to hearing that news about your friend?
Just realizing that the risks are real.
Yeah.
And you have to, be careful, but you can't let those dictate how you're going to approach the thing that you want to do.
How you feeling right now?
Feeling tired and scared. Look how far the chains are. Look at that. Yeah, practice falls. I don't know, Barrett, tell me, what are we doing? What do I need to do?
You're gonna grab the jug, and then I want you to get about a foot above the draw on those jugs, and then I want you to look down and then just drop.
All right, I'm gonna fall. A little spooky.
Okay. So now see if you can climb it. And then once you climb a little higher, I want you to climb it to where your feet are above the chain. Keep climbing. Keep climbing. Up and to your right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, I'm falling.
Yes.
After the second fall, my hands were shaking. Not only was I exhausted, but I was terrified of the last fall Barrett had planned.
I'm gonna hang out here for a second.
Get your heart rate down, chalk up.
Oh, fuck. I don't know about this one. My heart rate needs to chill out.
3, 2, 1.
Ah! Fuck! Oh.
Good job, Kyle.
Thanks. Holy shit.
How'd that feel?
That was terrifying.
All right, you ready to come down?
Yes.
Yes.
I think it's more about taking responsibility for the risks, which is the thing that I think a lot of people struggle with, because they often see the results at the end and they want that thing, and then they see the risks that it takes to get there and they're like, it's not worth it to me to do that. But there's another side where you can responsibly look at all the risks that it takes and know that those are manageable, and you're like, yeah, that's a risk I'm willing to take.
How do you feel?
Good job.
Thanks. Thanks, Barrett. Holy fuck.
After taking practice falls with Barrett, I definitely had some newfound confidence on the wall. But there is more to overcoming fear than just falling on a rope.
To get Kyle a better understanding of what it means to take manageable risks, we realized that we would need to venture outside of the niche world of climbing and talk to someone with a broader understanding of what it means to stay cool in genuinely dangerous situations.
This is Devon, TV producer, biologist, and cinematographer.
Like me, Devon has an obsession with capturing the stories he's passionate about. But unlike me, his stories look like this.
We sent Devon an email and told him about Kyle's journey to overcome his fear. To our surprise, he responded and offered to share his thoughts on fear, and how he calmly participates in what most people would find terrifying on a daily basis.
So I consider myself a filmmaker. That's what I do for a living, but my role changes day to day depending on what I'm doing. One day I might be an underwater cinematographer filming sharks. Other times I might be directing, but I specialize in wildlife and specifically apex predators.
You know, we've seen all these clips of you, diving with sharks, wrangling these snakes. You're a confident person because of these experiences.
I'm confident in the things that I know, When I'm dealing with these animals, you might just look at a snake or look at a shark and see this animal that's sitting there and just wants to bite you. I'm looking at how its eyes are moving, what muscles are tensing up, what is it doing with its tail. If you take someone who's never dive with a shark and you throw them into the water with a bunch of sharks, the first thing they're going to do is scream and splash and freak out and try to get out of the water, and that's how they're going to get bit. If you throw someone that's really experienced with sharks into the water, what's the first thing they're going to do? They're going to face the shark, they're going to look right into its eyes, they're going to keep eye contact, they're going to remain calm, and now their predator knows that he's on equal terms with me. We always say if you act like a predator, they treat you like a predator. You act like prey, you become prey. So you can take that to life, and I think it changes your brain chemistry. You just react differently the more you go through these situations. So a lot of that confidence comes with experience. Think about when you're a teenager and you're gonna get behind the wheel for the first time. It's one of the most intimidating experiences you could ever have. But the more you drive, the more you're on the road, the more relaxed you get, and you kind of lose that fear. A lot of people see what I do for a living or see different things that I've done in my life, and they assume that I'm not scared of anything. Like, I wrangle any snake in the world, you name it, I've wrangled most of them. Every species of dangerous shark, I've dived with them, but I always have this major respect. But two things in my life that I was terrified of. One was spiders. I was terrified of spiders, believe it or not. And two was heights. So both of those things, I forced myself, to put myself in the situation where I have to overcome those fears. And that's how I dealt with them.
That's awesome.
Can you tell us a story about kind of overcoming some of those fears?
To overcome my fear of spiders, I don't recommend this, but I got bitten by a bird-eating tarantula. So it's these spiders about the size of a dinner plate. I kind of just forced myself to get bitten. Again, don't take this advice, it's terrible advice. Don't do this. And to get over my fear of heights, I actually went base jumping. I just remember climbing over the railing of the bridge in Idaho. Everything in your body, every neuron in your body is telling you, like, don't do that, man, you're gonna die. That's like the ground, don't jump. Don't jump. And you've got to kind of hack your brain and force yourself just to overcome that.
Did it get less scary the more you did it? I mean, you said you did it a couple more times.
Yeah, I did. It definitely got less scary the more I did it. I did it 5 times, I believe. And every time you've done something like that and you face this extreme fear, I mean, I've done it countless times, and not once have I walked away from that and regretted doing it, you know?
Right.
Every time you face that fear and you push that boundary and you break through and you come out of it, you're bettering yourself, you're bettering your mind. You never walk away from it thinking it was a terrible idea. I guess fear really is the unknown. You can have fear of the unknown, but that's basically what fear boils down to. It's not knowing what's going to happen. People don't find commonality between each other because of the unknown. I think once you break those boundaries of the unknown, you realize the unknown isn't that scary after all.
What are some of the first steps that people can take towards like overcoming their unknowns?
I mean, the first tip anyone can take into facing the unknown is learning as much as possible. The more you know about something, the less scary it is. Whether it's shark diving, base jumping, going into caves, going to space. The more knowledge you have, the more power you have, and the better the ability you'll have to face your fear.
Devon taught us that the first steps to overcoming fear are education and immersion. So we decided it was time to take my immersion one step further. I was gonna jump out of an airplane.
Lucky for us, we knew just the guy to show Kyle the ropes of falling out of the sky.
I'm feeling all these little things about me right now, you know, things about my body. I don't know, I just feel like tight all over. Palms are kind of sweaty. But there's like fog clogging my mind right now. Or, you know, like I can't think about anything else.
Yeah.
Than like where we are right now in the moment.
Hey, what kind of sound are you gonna make before you jump?
Eee! You know?
Yeah, okay.
Over here, I just need a set of initials for the tandem class that you're gonna go upstairs and watch. Right here.
Right here, yeah.
Nice. Alright, how we feeling, Kyle? A little more tense energy. I was watching the video in there, and what got me was like, yeah, you're gonna be like, play a part in pulling the cord. And I was like, oh, shit.
Anxiety had been building up in me all day, but when I went to my skydiving orientation and learned that I was gonna be the one pulling the parachute cord, my body went into fight or flight mode.
I could feel it in there watching that video. I said, when I saw like, oh, you're gonna be pulling your cord, I stood up, or sat up, I was like, what? You know? They said that the instructor jumps. You tell them if you're good or not in the plane, and then you walk up to the edge, or they walk you up to the edge, and then they give you a 3, 2, 1, and then you go, and then you're there, in there. Okay. So that sounds like some manageable risk, right?
Let's hope.
Let's hope.
At that moment, it became real to me. I was gonna be jumping out of an airplane in the next few minutes. All of a sudden, we saw the man we were here for.
Most people are too scared to even consider jumping out of an airplane. Not Colin.
I'm not gonna lie, daughter had fun on Yagi, her brain fried. My lady
For Colin, growing up, heights were never something to be afraid of. Now, Colin has 400 skydives and is on his way to receiving the highest recreational license. Today, Colin is going to help Kyle understand his fear of falling, up close and personal.
Yeah, we are.
That was so sick. So fun. That was a fun jump. Always.
So was there a time where you were like afraid of heights, afraid of falling?
Nah. The fear aspect was never really in the forefront. I mean, I was jumping off cliffs when I was a kid. I was racing motocross. So, I mean, I've got that adrenaline junkie aspect of my life that's always been there. But there is fear there still. You know, fear does exist. And that's kind of the fun with it, you know, is being able to push that boundary and kind of see your comfort zone and then break past it.
So how many dives do you have after 6 years of skydiving?
I've got 430. Yeah. Which it seems like a lot, but it's honestly not. Like in the grand scheme, when you look at some of these people that we're jumping with, that, you know, I mean, they've got thousands of jumps. So in the grand scheme, I'm like a young grasshopper out here. Yeah. I'm at the bottom of the totem pole.
So like when you're falling through the air, what kind of speeds are you hitting?
On your belly, you're flying between 110, 120, around there. Like for a tandem, you're about 120. Yeah.
It's not slow.
No, it's not. I mean, for us it is, but for the average person, no, it's not.
So yeah, like your mind was there. Pretty low. Okay. Squat down just a bit more. Boom, and right on the edge. And then we go ready, set, and we hop out. Okay.
You get a lot of people who are like terrified.
I do, yeah. I have people sometimes crying, shaking. Rarely do they not jump though. But the fear is part of the fun. Awesome. Yeah. Let me clean some goggles for you.
Afterwards, they have a completely different mindset.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's a humbling experience, and a lot of times they're like, I can do anything. So that's cool.
So many people see skydiving as like, this is my bucket list item to do. Why is this the go-to?
That's a good question. I think having skydiving as a bucket list item is because it is so accessible, you know, and it's one of those adventure aspects of life that seems very extreme and it seems very far-fetched. But in reality, people that are skydiving consistently, we know that it's just another day for us.
Looks good.
Yeah. Wow.
You trust it?
I'm trusting you.
You're a rock climber. You've got to trust the gear, right?
Yep, very true. But I think the aspect behind skydiving is it seems so extreme, and that's why people want to conquer that fear of heights or free fall or even just being in an airplane. It's adventurous, you know, and I think that it tests people and their ability to be in the moment. And that's my favorite thing about skydiving, is you're never more in the moment than when you're free falling. I think when it comes to overcoming fear, I think immersion is a good way to do it. And whenever something comes up and it seems like it's difficult, that's the time you need to push through the most. I think there is a fine line between, you know, overstepping your comfort levels, but at the same time, you got to understand, if you do have a comfort level, pushing past that and not letting it push on you.
All right, my man. We're about halfway up. How you feeling? Real good. Looking out the window like, oh yeah, we're game on. Oh yeah, buddy. The heart rate's going up.
I mean, because sometimes our fears they kind of control us. And I think when you get past the point of your fear controlling you, then you've won. Yeah.
love that. I had a blast, man. It was really fun. Yeah, how was it? Am I gonna go again? Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Wow. Yeah, you're cut out for it. I know. Yes. Oh, yeah. So good. Thanks, Todd. You're awesome.
Now that's falling. That is falling right there, dude. He said, take it in, like breathe, look around. Because he said most people look at the ground, move up to the edge. My breathing's like starting to feel it, like it was increasing. Tubbs goes, all right, 3, 2, 1, hop out of the plane. It's like the biggest cliff jump you ever felt. You know that feeling you let go times like 100. Yeah, we're doing it again.
We're coming back. I definitely view life differently after learning how to skydive. The feeling that you get and the presence that comes with learning a sport like this, you can translate it to other areas of your life, you know? I feel like I have a better understanding of who I am because of a sport like this.
And when it comes to overcoming your fear, writing it down can help a lot of people, you know? Writing down the fear that you want to overcome and then creating the steps to make it happen. You know, if it's skydiving, give them a call. Call the drop zone that you want to jump at, schedule a time, and go. Just try to be present, try to be in the moment, and have fun. You know, I mean, overcoming fear is fun, and it's makes you a better person.
How did he do?
He was perfect.
That's great.
Yes.
Were you scared?
Me?
No, I know you weren't scared.
You guys can hang those right back up there.
I was.
That is yours.
Tubbs was stoked to hear that I was on a journey to conquer my fear of falling. It reminded her of some guys in Utah who built an entire community around the same concept.
And he is a highlining legend, so gotta check him out.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
You're
for that
very welcome.
We saw a video of them doing a rope swing into a canyon. Even though I was still riding the high from skydiving, that video made my gut drop. So naturally, we had to hit them up.
What's up, boys?
What's up, guys?
How's it going?
So we saw that canyon rope swing video on your Instagram. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I mean, we go out to Utah and we set that thing up periodically, and it's just a blast. And we have a bunch of people come out, and just there's a ton of community and fun. And I mean, the swing itself, it is super scary, but also like the funnest thing you'll ever do. So
How tall is it?
canyon to floor is like 350 feet, but like top dead center to like the bottom or whatever from the fulcrum, you'll be like upwards of 400 or 500 feet. So it's big for sure. We're actually heading out there in a couple weeks. If you guys want to join that trip, we'd love to have you out there.
Push it to the limit, I can't go no more. Red light, no way, I'm coming back home. Long dirt road, all on my own. I'ma be the greatest, write my name in the stone. Write my name in the stone. Yeah, I'm coming back home. Yeah, I'm coming back home. Write my name in the stone.
We got in last night about like 10:40. Today's the jump day, so feeling a little nervous. I was visualizing it last night in my sleep of me like stepping up to that edge and looking down. So it's gonna be kind of wild. I'm already feeling like the sensations in me.
Dude, the first time I like did it, jumped off, and I like straight thought I was gonna die because you're like falling
into darkness.
Kinda, yeah. And then the rocks are like coming up so fast. Like I'm like falling, and I'm like watching these rocks come up, and it's like big enough to where you're like, oh, this should have caught me by now. It really should have caught me by now. And then it catches you, and you come across the bottom going like 120 miles an hour, just like cooking.
As the day goes on, just feeling more and more, I don't know.
Terrified?
And yeah, terrified. Envisioning it.
Have you guys done the rope swing before?
A few times.
Yeah?
Times.
What's your thought about it?
It is terrifying the first time you do it, and then it gets so much fun after that. Once you get over your fear the first time, kiss the baby, it's over. You get addicted to it.
What do you think about it?
I'm excited. It's nerve-wracking, but
You've never done it before?
no, yeah, never done it.
Really?
He's excited, and then he's gonna get up to the edge, and he's gonna be like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. The best way to do it is to hype yourself the hell up. Because, like,
just back up,
because
count
just go
down.
crazy with it. Like, I'm going to do it, blah, blah. And then, like, all that stuff's going to go way down, but it's going to still be enough stoke to want to jump. Yeah.
But now it's like, it's all right. It's like manageable. No, not manageable.
I mean, sure.
Sure, dude.
I mean, you could go look off the cliff and then tell me what you think about manageable.
Like all y'all are walking jump like a bunch of lines in Fort Collins. We rig out here all the time.
So this is the spot, huh?
Yes, sir. Dude,
wow.
This is it.
This is sick. This is crazy.
For the first look over the edge.
Holy shit.
Ready to jump off?
How are you feeling?
Tight in my stomach. Butterflies for days. That is way. I'm jumping off that thing today.
I'm Trout. I am 21 years old.
My name is Mateo Powell. I am 21 years old as well. People ask you like, why do you do it? And it's like, I don't know, dude, you just gotta feel it. Like it's a very much like just an internal just click. And your life changes.
The mental battle on the line that like occurs is just, it's so crazy because you're having to be 100% focused and 100% relaxed at the same time. Then there's this feeling of like, once you get to the point of figuring out what the line needs from you, just like pure relaxation, pure just like bliss on the line, and it's the best feeling in the world.
Has there been any like highline deaths that y'all have ever heard of? Not like in your group, but like in general. I feel like there's so much redundancy.
The people who have died are people who either are soloing or
forget to tie in.
Or forget to tie in, which I did one time. What was that like? I almost died. I was on a parallel line next to Mateo. Flipped it on, went out there, flipped over, took it off, was sitting on it, and I looked down and I was not attached to anything. And I grabbed the line and then I had to flip underneath it and then hook my feet on, and then I had to do the whole flip the thing. Oh, you got that adrenaline pumping now? Huh? You got that adrenaline pumping now?
Oh yeah.
Everyone's like, highliners are adrenaline junkies. Exactly. Really not. Just like that. Because if you have adrenaline, you literally can't walk. That's it. Wow. You're too shaky. You have to be like completely cool and calm. Kick with your butt. You just get on high lines, and you get on high lines, and you get on bigger ones and smaller ones and different ones. And like consistently, if you do it a bunch in a row, then you like get over it. So like eventually, you just like don't even feel the heights anymore. But as long as you're scared of heights, it ain't happening.
Oh. It ain't happening.
Being scared is cool. Like, getting scared is cool. That flow state that you get, and just like that sense of calmness, the interesting thing for me is that I'm finding it harder and harder to like step into those spaces because it's so normal for me at this point now. When I get on a line where I'm scared, it like all comes back, and it's like when the fear is like introduced back into that environment for me, that's when like the flow state and like the it factor comes back. So it's like a weird relationship with fear where it's like it's almost like needed.
Fear is your friend in highlining.
And someone's gonna die.
Oh, beach. In about 40 minutes, we'll be jumping. And that thing's tall, John. I'm scared. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm kind of like tensing up inside, you know? Harder to breathe. My head is just like going every other place instead of the canyon. Like I'm visualizing that feeling, and it's kind of terrifying. Like the leap, I'm just trying to think of how I'm gonna do it. Like I know they're probably gonna be counting, but I'm gonna have to just start yelling before we go. I would just hate to just like let go of it all of a sudden. Okay, cool. Hell yeah, dude. I've ever put a harness on just then.
Like Dylan.
How are we feeling?
Feeling good.
Yeah?
A little nervous, but we're gonna do it, so.
The thing about the rope swing is that it is like, in my head, it is like one of the most primal and simple battles with fear that you could ever have. It's, I jump this and either I die or I live.
Becoming acquainted with the fear of stepping off of a 400-foot cliff is just like something that's so cool. When you feel that rush of like fear go through your body, like you know you're in the right place, you know you're doing the right thing.
Let's fucking go!
mindset shift? Do you guys see that in people when they come back up? What's that like?
That is like why we do this, like why we set that up. When like I say that it's life-changing, like it really is. Like people's disposition as soon as they come up from the rope swing is incredible. For people to like take that step and like jump and then come out of it like alive, I think it's just crazy. And they come out with like so much confidence and a realization is like, holy crap, I didn't even know I could do that. Like that was crazy and I want to do it again. And like as soon as you like swing out, you just know that they're just going nuts with it. And so yeah, there's a huge mindset change where like a lot of confidence to be able to do other things in life. An experience like that really just opens up your mind to what's possible.
Perfect. Nice. Fucking hell, that was sick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Depending on like where you go up, like, I'll just show you that video in the drones.
Hell yeah. Yep. That was the crazy experience. It was just the same emotions as when I was skydiving. Yeah, it was like the same feeling of just like that first initial jump, and then you're just enjoying the rest of the ride. So yeah, dude, there's a ton of adrenaline pumping. You get to see the canyon after you swing through. Trout's the man. Got me out there, man. Holy shit. That was great. I see why you guys like it. I see why you like it.
People jump the rope swing or they're standing on the edge and they are terrified out of their minds, and then they jump and we start pulling them back up and they come up over that edge after they've jumped and they are smiling like so big. They say, that's the craziest thing I've ever done, and like that was the best moment of my life. And just seeing that emotion out of people, seeing the fear overcome and the result of that like in their mind and in their hearts is so cool.
You feel alive, let's hit the dance floor. Don't work too hard, might break a backbone. Return of the Mac, the king is back though. Corvette and cash, I never lack those. She saw the stone, you know how that go. Fatality, my diamonds that cold. Versace trucks, I hit my backstroke. Knock on the door, he had to
How was your jump?
Freaking amazing.
Does it get less scary as you do it?
You just want to do it more. It never gets less scary, you just want to do it more and more. Yeah, it's a great community.
It taught me to trust yourself, because if you trust yourself, you can do anything in life. Don't doubt yourself.
More than half in life is fear, you know, so you got to overcome it at some point. Why not do it in the gnarliest ways?
Hell yeah.
All right, we're good.
Can't remember anything, but I know we got good times. Living in the moment, feel like summertime. Obsessed with nature, not a world mine. The room is spinning, but I feel fine. Oh my.
Bro, I just jumped and it was insane. Probably the most fun thing I've ever done in my entire life.
I jumped. I didn't jump.
Okay, do you think that like doing something like this is going to affect your climbing ability?
Absolutely, 100%.
Are you okay falling?
Yeah, I'll fall any day.
Oh,
I'll still scream, but I'll fall.
Wildest thing I've done in years.
And you're a skydiver.
I got 11,000 skydives. I got like 81 base jumps. I think I was way more nervous for that than anything I've done in years.
You did the jump?
I did the jump. I just was thinking to myself, I'm too old and fat to climb. I'm too old and fat to highline, but I could jump. So I did it. You know, confronting your fears and confronting things that make you uncomfortable is how you grow.
That's awesome.
That's all I got.
Good times. Live in the moment, feel like summertime. Obsessed with nature, not a world mine. The room is spinning, but I feel fine. Oh
We just got into a helicopter. That thing was nosediving. Nosediving. It flying in and us watching it like invert, because it's like a...
3, 2, 1.
This has been our day.
That has been our day. Constant, non-stop adrenaline. Wherever you look, it's so cool because everyone's doing their own thing. And you can join in whoever you are. You can do whatever you want out here.
Dude, that was insane.
There he goes.
There was like times we were like upside down, looking down at the ground, like through the top like windows of the helicopter. It was insane.
Did that scare you?
Not really.
So the first time the helicopter came in, I see Trout and some of the other guys get in that thing. Gets your camera, they fly off. We watch that thing dive.
It dove down.
Almost inverted itself. It did a flip. The next thing I know, Trout's like, Kyle, get over here. Come on. I was like, me?
I think fear is a reality in life, and I think there's no way to avoid fear. I think the question comes down to what do you do when you come up against that fear? How do you react to fear? And it's the answer to that question that ends up like defining
who you are.
Yeah. Fear is natural. Fear is ingrained in your body to prevent you from dying or hurting yourself.
When you understand that fear isn't necessarily an emotion and it's more of a reality, and that you can take that and control it, that's when life becomes your playground.
Would you have done that just like a week ago or a month ago?
After, like, from this experience? I don't know, dude. I really couldn't tell you, but I've realized on this trip, if there's one thing I've picked up, is that there's all these experiences out there that you just need to like put yourself in there and take hold of it, or you're gonna miss it. I feel like a better person overall. Like, I've grown as who I am, not just with my fear of falling, but what defines me. Shooting this documentary has completely changed my perspective on fear. Fear has a purpose in our lives, but it's our job to recognize when it inhibits our personal growth. By educating ourselves on our fear and immersing ourselves into them, we can all take steps toward creating a healthy relationship with fear and living a happier life. A life of freedom.
We did it! Estrella, 1,200 feet, 12 pitches. We're out here. Barrett got me up here. It was a great climb.
Trying to distill wisdom out of all of the chaos that is life.
I'm trying to think the scariest situations I've ever had. Once I got kidnapped, actually. That was probably one of the scariest. Yeah.
Man, I don't like wasps. Wasps, bro.
Spiders, anything with more than 4 legs. I'm being serious, dude. I don't mess with insects.
I think I'm serious when I say women.